Hey, Arthur Hill here with TrendInvestorPro.com. You are tuned into Next Level Charting. This is for Thursday, October 21st. So thank you very much for joining us. So we've got a breakout working in the S&P 500, and we're also seeing money move into sectors and industry groups related to hard assets. In particular, we've seen copper breakout, the copper miners. We're seeing renewed strength in materials, and that's carrying over into the industrial sector. So we're going to look at those two sector SPDRs, and then we're going to look at another group, steel, which has been lagging over the last 6 months or so, and see if it is poised to join the value party, if you will. Let's hit those charts. So I'm going to work off of StockCharts ACP here for these charts. And first up, we got copper miners. And I've got my Stoke Close indicator in the bottom, and you can see it triggered bearish there in July when it moved below 40, and it stayed bearish, but now it's making a move up and is on the verge of crossing 60 to turn bullish. Now this is based on 125 days, as you can see over there. And by the way, this is part of the Trend Investor Pro Indicator Edge plugin. If you go down to the bottom right, you click on plugins, and there you can learn more about this plugin. So what we've got here over on the upper left is I've got the 200-day moving average in red on the main chart. I've got the direction of the 200-day moving average in the first indicator window, and I've got Stoke Close in the second indicator, the lower indicator window. And I chose Stoke Close because I like it to identify trends and to rank ETFs. And it basically gives you a volatility adjusted ranking of price strength, if you will. There's more about that on my website here. But because it's locked into 125 days, it doesn't always capture the big trend. It's looking for that sweet spot, that 4 to 6 month trend. So if we look at copper here, like everything else, it had this huge move off of those lows from COVID. You can see here, in March 2020, that low was around 10 and it moved above 40, so it was up like 400%. And then it moved down from May until September, October here. So that's a pretty good downtrend. Now, as far as the overall big trend is concerned, you can see the 200-day is still rising, and we can quantify that here with that first indicator window. That is the 5-day rate of change of the 200-day moving average. And so when it's green, that moving average is rising, and you can see it's rising sharply into early 2021, and then the rise is slowing, but it's still rising here in October 2021. So this decline was enough to turn Stoke Close bearish, but if I look at the structure of the price chart, I can see a bullish structure. And I would say the same thing when we look at these other ETFs like materials and steel and industrials. You know, you had this move to new highs, and then we have what looks like a big wedge, a falling wedge. And now we're getting a breakout from that wedge. So we corrected for a while, found support, and now we're breaking out. And I think this is a longer term bullish signal, and I would expect Stoke Close to follow suit. Now here's the actual copper ETF, CPER, and you can see it peaked as well in May, and then it formed this long falling channel or falling wedge. The pattern doesn't really matter because you had this huge move to a new high and you had a long correction, but it found support near that rising 200-day, and look at that breakout. I think that breakout is bullish. We're almost at a new high, but I would expect new highs, because I think this is a correction within a bigger uptrend, and the breakout is bullish. And you can see Stoke Close has already turned bullish again. Trend signals, they're going to lag. That's the way they are. This is a trend following indicator. As far as the price is concerned, this breakout was the early signal. Well, it's almost in line with Stoke Close there, but it's bullish for copper. So we got copper breaking out and moving higher. I've also noted that lithium is strong, uranium is strong. We're seeing strategic metals showing strength as well, and that is good for the materials sector. And if you look at XLB, you know, it peaked in May along with copper and some of these other ETFs, but it's got this long correction. It's a long falling wedge. There's that rising 200-day, and you can see in the indicator window it's still green, so the 200-day is still rising. Yes, Stoke close triggered bearish, but that's because it's undoing a bullish signal from a long time ago. If I open up this chart, you can see Stoke close turned bullish there in May in the low to mid 50s. And so it turned bearish here in September in the upper 70s. So you caught a really good trend. So now we got a correction, and it looks like this correction is ending because we had this zigzag lower. And then the early signal within the correction is you got a swing down, a swing up, a swing down, and then you have this breakout here. So that's the early sign that you're going to get a bigger breakout here of this falling wedge that I drew in the beginning. So we've got a breakout within the bigger falling wedge, and I expect to move to new highs in XLB. So now I want to take you over to trendinvestorpro.com to show you the ranking and trend signal table, because we got a couple of new signals on the table this past week. So I'm here on the recent commentary and analysis page, and at the top I have my market regime page, bull market or bear market. I've got the ranking trends and setup table just below that or next to it. And if you scroll down, we are identifying this big follow through last week with strong breadth. And so that suggested that the correction in the S&P 500 was ending and the bigger uptrend was resuming. If we go over to our trend and signals table here, I've got 129 ETFs, and they make up my core list. We got the major index ETFs, we got the sectors, the industry group ETFs, commodities, bonds, and currencies. And if I click this new trend column here, we can see that we've got 3 new uptrends within the last 3 days. We got solar energy, we've got oil and gas equipment services, and we got MLPs. So we're seeing some strength again in energy, and it's interesting to see solar energy perking up here with that trend signal there. Now we got some downtrends in healthcare, but importantly, I think we got bonds. TIPS is in a downtrend, TLT is in a downtrend, corporate bonds are in a downtrend. So that means money's moving into bonds, and that could mean money moving into stocks. So again, check out trendinvestorpro.com if you'd like to know more about our services. XLI is also perking up, the industrials SPDR. And so we can see here we've got the similar price structure as materials at peak in May and the long correction. But if you look at this correction in percentage terms, it wasn't very much. You know, you're in this 106 area and you're correcting down to the 97 area. That's not a very deep correction. It's just a long sideways consolidation. And you know, there's some downswings and upswings, downswing, and then we got that breakout this week, and that's a breakout within the downswing. That's the early signal, and now it looks like we're getting a bigger breakout, and there you can see Stoke close is turning bullish. So if we see what's happening with copper, industrials, and materials, I ask myself, well, what could be next? And it could be steel, because if you look at SLX here, you can see that it had a huge move into that May high, and then it was flat, and it actually looked like it was breaking out of a channel here. It did break out, but this breakout didn't hold, and it fell back to the rising 200-day moving average. If you look at the indicator window, you can see the 200-day is still rising. Stoke closes turned bearish, so we're waiting for a Stoke close signal. So we don't have a clear wedge or a channel like we do with industrials and materials, but we can see a little breakout there, break above that high there. So it looks like steel is trying to reverse the downswing within this pattern, and that would be the early sign of strength in steel. And I was also looking at a couple of stocks. When I think of steel, Nucor is usually at the top of my list. And Nucor is still bullish. You look at Stoke close, you can see it didn't go below 40 in February, and it didn't go below 40 in September, October. It's holding up a little bit better. And you can see we've got a potential higher low here. and it looks like we're breaking out here short term. So you've got a downswing, a pullback within an uptrend, and we're trying to get a breakout, a short-term breakout that would signal a continuation of that uptrend there. And another one I'll look at is Steel Dynamics, STLD. And you can see that it is also showing some strength. Now, Stoke close did trigger bearish down there at the bottom. Sometimes you're going to get some whipsaws with your indicators. That's just the way it is. But you can see we're holding support here from that July low. We're holding above the rising 200-day, and we're getting a short-term breakout there. So Steel Dynamics is looking bullish too. So that concludes this edition of Next Level Charting. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Also consider going to StockCharts on demand to view this video, or YouTube. If you want to know more about Trend Investor Pro, about the strategies regarding ETFs, please check out the website trendinvestorpro.com. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.